Shalom, shalom, folks. It's Brother Tyndall from Something to Chew On, coming in, going to do a read-along video and hopefully give you something to chew on. This week, we got something really special. It's the greatest internet challenge ever. But stick around. Okay, this one's going to be brief. I'm going to do this update really quick, and then a video I made yesterday I'm going to attach to the end. I'll explain in a second. Okay, first off, for the update, last week Zechariah was the book of choice. So those videos have been made and the complete playlist has been uploaded to YouTube. And, well, I would say, as usual, the link will be in the description below. But let me throw this out there. Because I've been putting the link to all the read-along videos in the description of these videos, it's getting rather long. And the thing is, YouTube has a limit on how long the description of a video can be. So it's almost to the point where I'm not able to add anymore. I'm not sure. I have to check when I actually upload this video to YouTube to see. I'll be able to fit it in there. I may have to edit some of the other text that is in the description. Shorten it up to make room for this link. I'm not sure, but I'll fit this one in there. But in the coming weeks, I may not be able to. I may have to. We'll just see how I'm doing. I'm just letting you know that before this project is said and done, I'm not going to be able to have the link to all 66 all 66 read-along playlist links in the description of this video before it's all said and done, because that's going to be way too long to fit in the space they allow you to use as a description. Does that make sense? So, with that said, okay, the vote last week was, or the vote this week was between Nehemiah and Amos. Okay, the winner was Amos. So, like always, within the next 2 or 3 days, Amos is not a very long book. So within the next 2 or 3 days, 4 days, and most high willing, I'll have those videos finished and uploaded into a brand new read-along playlist on the YouTube channel. Okay, now, the vote this week, right here, I'm going to say it again. Don't forget to vote. Don't forget, for those of you who vote, don't forget to vote. But this week, I'm putting Nehemiah back on the table. Nehemiah's back on the table because there's a couple of people. It actually almost won this week, and I have a couple of friends. They want that one made, and I told them, I said, we got to vote it. We got to vote it. We got to vote it. Okay, so here it is. Nehemiah or the book to the Hebrews from the Brit, Chadashah, the New Testament. Hebrews. Nehemiah or Hebrews. So pause the video so we don't forget. I go and vote in the comment section below. Right? Nehemiah, Hebrews. Vote below. Okay, now, to explain what you're about to see, I'm not going to explain it because it's going to explain itself, but I will say this. The video you're going to see is a Facebook Live video that I made yesterday. And considering this content is date sensitive, what you're going to see at the end is for chapter 1. Because yesterday was day 1 of the challenge. It was the first of the month. Does that make sense? And considering today is the second day, or day 2 of this challenge, what I'm going to do to that video, yesterday it only had chapter 1. But I'm going to go back in there. I'm going to leave the chapter 1 video at the end of that. You'll see it. But after it's over, it's going to transition straight into chapter 2 of the challenge, which is today. Does that make sense? It'll make sense when you see the next video, what's going on, what's being explained, and why I put the 2 videos on there. It'll make sense. But like I said, Nehemiah, Hebrews, vote below and accept the challenge. It's the greatest internet challenge ever. And with that, let's roll the footage.
I led them with cords of kindness, with the bands of love. And I became to them as one who eases the yoke on their jaws. And I bent down to them and fed them.
Shalom, shalom, folks. It's Brother Tender from Something to Chew On coming in, doing a live Facebook video for you this evening. As you see on the banner behind me and in the description of the video, this is the greatest internet challenge ever. We've had foolishness and worldly foolishness. We've seen them eating Tide Pods. We've seen them bathing themselves in ice water. But this is the greatest internet challenge ever. All that promoted foolishness, but this one will promote wisdom. I do this every now and then. And me and a friend of mine got to talking, and this subject come up. And I thought, what better time to do this? For those who don't know, you've never heard of this, you're unfamiliar with this. You saw on the banner behind me. Most people label this the Proverbs challenge. Most months have 31 days. There are 31 chapters in Proverbs. And you simply, on day 1 of the month, you read chapter 1 of Proverbs. On day 2, you read chapter 2. Day 3, chapter 3. And so on and so forth until the month is over, and then you have read through the entire book of Proverbs. Okay. Now, I'll give you a brief testimony, and I'll explain something. And this is the point of doing this. For those of you who don't know, after high school, went into the military, I come out, and I was a homeless, addicted veteran living on the streets. But the Most High lifted me out of that pit of mud and mire, so praise the Most High for that. But I bounced around from homeless shelter to homeless shelter to homeless shelter. And I eventually went into one, and I did a year-long intense discipleship program. And for those of you who know what the 12 steps are, it was a 12-step program, but it was centered on Messiah and the gospel, so to speak. Okay, well, while I was there in this year-long thing, one of the things they introduced us to was this quote-unquote Proverbs challenge. And they had us do it not only for a month, but for the entire year we were there. Okay? So like day 1 of, the month, you would read a chapter. And then day 2, and as it became a new month, you just started back over and you did it. So basically, in the entire year that you were in this program, you pretty much read through Proverbs 12 times. Okay? And we had, just to let you know, we had daily classes on, a variety of some 12-step type classes, biblical study type classes, how to transition back into society, job interview skills, these kind of things. Well, every now and then, probably about every couple, every 2 weeks or so, they would take a break from our regularly scheduled classes, and we would do a quote-unquote Proverbs challenge class. And whatever day of the month it was, that's the chapter of Proverbs we would discuss in the class for that day. So basically, after this year, you'd read through Proverbs 12 times, and you had discussed each of the chapters multiple times. Because, like I said, they would take a break from the regular schedule and we would talk about Proverbs. And I'm sure they had it set up some way so that, by the end of the month or by the end of the year, you'd talked about, I never kept track of it, but I'm sure they had it set up to where at the end of that year, you'd done talked about each of the chapters of Proverbs 3 or 4 times a piece. Do you see what I'm saying? So you got a thorough soaking of the wisdom of Proverbs, right? And I'm going to share with you what they shared with us and what they had us do. But I'll preface it with this. It seems as if the body of Messiah today is lacking something. It's lacking discernment. It's lacking, biblical wisdom. And sadly, and probably most importantly, the body is lacking how to receive and or give correction, reproof, and rebuke. Put it this way. This is the way it was explained to me. A person will never grow and change unless they first realize where they are and or what they're doing is incorrect. But in order to do that, one has to be humble and they have to listen. Whether it be directly from the Ruach as you're reading through the text, or the Ruach speaking through someone to point out something in your life that is lacking, an area that you're lacking in, or we are lacking in. I include myself in this. But upon doing this, and over this time period, this was always something that was brought up, And it taught us how to receive correction in a biblical way. Most people want to have a knee-jerk reaction and simply put a wall up and not listen. But I'll say this, as it was told to us, one will never grow until they actually learn to listen what's being taught. Now, let me clarify that. That doesn't necessarily mean agreeing with what is being taught. The correction you're being given, that doesn't necessarily mean agreeing with it. But in order to be able to truly agree or disagree, to accept it or reject it, one has to first listen to what's being said. And that it goes back to, I don't think a lot of people in the body of Messiah are actually taught how to do this in a biblical way. Okay? One will never grow if they do not learn to listen. Makes sense? Like it says in Proverbs 20 and verse 12, it says, the hearing ear and the seeing eye, Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, hath made them both. So, with that said, I pray that you hear with the ear and the eyes that He has given us. But as you go through this challenge, look for the words. I've already mentioned these key words: wisdom, knowledge, understanding, reproof, rebuke, correction, chastisement. And this is in no way an exhaustive list. But look for these top words. See how they're used in the text of Proverbs. And then take them to the Strong's Concordance and look up the actual Hebrew word, the meanings of those Hebrew words, and then look to see how those same words are used in other places in the Tanakh, or what most people would commonly call the Old Testament. And after you do this for a month, I guarantee you, you will grow in both wisdom and knowledge, and grace and understanding of our Messiah. And you will be blessed by this. Okay, so I challenge you to accept the greatest internet challenge ever. It does not promote worldly foolishness, but it promotes wisdom of the Most High. Accept the challenge. Okay, now with that said, what I'm going to do here in just a second, if you look at the description of this video, you're going to see two links. One is the link to the YouTube video, which I'm about to transition to, and you'll see it here. But you can also click the link, go to the YouTube channel, and see it there. Okay, the next link is to the actual full playlist of all of these videos. And I'll explain to you. For those who know, you get it. But for those who don't know, the YouTube channel, Something to Chew On, I have been going through the Bible and making what I call read-along playlists for the various books of the Bible. And this is one of the ones I did a while ago. And it's called the MishlЄ, or Proverbs read-along playlist. You go to the playlist, there's 31 videos in that playlist. And the first video is for chapter 1. Second video is chapter 2. You see that? There's one video per chapter of the book of Proverbs. Okay, now these are set to the Scripture Version 2009, or the ISR version. Many of you are familiar with it. But hey, by all means, use whatever translation you prefer. That's fine. I'm just using this. This is me giving you the tools to accomplish this challenge, trying to facilitate it so it's the easiest way for the viewers. But these videos, that's what I was going to explain. These videos, like I said, they're called read-along videos, or the read-along playlist. Chapter 1 video, the one I'm going to transition to that you can see right here, all it is the audio, somebody reading the audio of the text. And you're going to see the text scrolling up the screen. So as you hear it, you see it, therefore you can read along with it. Hence why I call them read-along videos. But like I said, I'm going to transition to that video and let it play. You can watch it here. The link to the actual YouTube videos in the description. By all means, utilize that. And I said the other link is to the entire playlist of all the chapters of Proverbs. So you can go back and listen to them multiple times if you need to, if you like to, if you whatever. Yeah. Okay, now, with all that said, before I transition, last thing. Today I'm doing this live video, and I'm going to show you the read-along video. Okay, tomorrow, I'm not going to go live. I'm simply, on my personal timeline, going to share the chapter 2 read-along video. I'm not going to share the link from YouTube. I'm actually going to upload the video onto Facebook, therefore you can watch it right there. But I will put the link to the YouTube video so you can go there and watch it. Do you see what I'm saying? So for the next month, that's what I'm going to do. Day 2, I'm going to share chapter 2 video. Day 3, I'm going to share chapter 3 video. Makes sense? Okay. Now, with all that said, I pray that everyone is edified, they grow, and they are blessed by this. But with that said, let's go to the actual read-along playlist. And with that, I say, may the face of the Most High shine upon you. Blessings and shalom.
I led them with cords of kindness, with the bands of love. And I became to them as one who eases the yoke on their jaws. And I bent down to them and fed them.
MishlЄ 1. The Proverbs of Shalom, son of David, sovereign of Israel, for knowing wisdom and discipline, for understanding the words of understanding, for receiving the discipline of wisdom, righteousness, right ruling, and straightness, for giving insight to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. The wise one hears and increases learning, and the understanding one gets wise counsel, for understanding a proverb and a figure, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. My son, heed the discipline of your father, and do not forsake the Torah of your mother, for they are a fair wreath on your head, and chains about your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, do not give in. If they say, Come with us, let us lie in wait for blood. Let us ambush the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them alive like Sheol, and entirely like those going down to the pit. Let us find all precious goods. Let us fill our houses with spoil. Cast in your lot among us. Let us have one purse. My son, do not walk in the way with them. Keep your foot from their path, for their feet run to evil, and they hurry to shed blood. For in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird, but they lie in wait for their own blood. They ambush their own lives. Such are the ways of everyone greedy for gain. It takes away the life of its owners. Wisdom calls aloud outside. She raises her voice in the broad places. At the head of the noisy streets she cries out. At the opening of the gates in the city she speaks her words. How long, you simple ones, would you love simplicity? And shall scoffers delight in their scoffing, and fools hate knowledge? Turn at my reproof. See, I pour out my spirit on you. I make my words known to you, because I called, and you refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no one inclined. And you spurned all my counsel, and would not yield to my reproof. Let me also laugh at your calamity, mock when your dread comes. When your dread comes like a storm, and your calamity comes like a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you. Let them then call on me, but I answer not. Let them seek me, but not find me. Because they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of Yahweh. They did not accept my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Therefore let them eat the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own counsels. For the turning away of the simple kills them, and the complacency of fools destroys them. But whoever listens to me dwells safely, and is at ease from the dread of evil. Mishlē 2. My son, if you accept my words, and treasure up my commands with you, so that you make your ear attend to wisdom, incline your heart to understanding. For if you cry out for discernment, lift up your voice for understanding, if you seek her as silver, and search for her as hidden treasures, then you would understand the fear of Yahweh, and find the knowledge of Elohim. For Yahweh gives wisdom, out of his mouth come knowledge and understanding, and he treasures up stability for the straight, a shield to those walking blamelessly, to watch over the paths of right ruling, and the way of his lovingly committed one he guards. Then you would understand righteousness and right ruling and straightness, every good path. For wisdom would enter your heart, and knowledge be pleasant to your being. Discretion would guard you, understanding would watch over you, to deliver you from the evil way, from the man who speaks perversities. Those who leave the paths of straightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil, they delight in the perversities of evil, whose paths are crooked, and they are perverted in their ways, to deliver you from the strange woman, from the foreigner who flatters with her words, who forsakes the companion of her youth, and has forgotten the covenant of her Elohim. For her house has sunk down to death, and her paths lead to the dead. None going into her does return, nor do they reach the paths of life. So walk in the way of goodness, and guard the paths of righteousness. For the straight shall dwell in the earth, and the perfect be left in it. But the wrong shall be cut off from the earth, and the treacherous ones plucked out of it.
Okay, folks, I pray you accept the challenge. And don't forget, the vote this week is between Nehemiah and Hebrews. Vote below. And I'll end this video like I end every video. Don't just read this thing, but chew on it. Shalom, shalom, folks.